So using Teams to set assignments for your students is a relatively straightforward process. And one of the good things about this is that if you've set assignments up in a previous year, or you set assignments up for this year's bunch of students, you'll be able to reuse those without having to create them again. So if you click on assignments on the menu on the side, it will take us to this page here, and we're looking for this create button. Now, we've got a couple of options here. We can set a quiz as an assignment, and that is basically a Microsoft form. We can use an existing assignment from another team that we are an owner of, or we can set an assignment up from the get-go. So I'm going to choose assignment, and this will start me one up from 0. Now, it's asking us for a title of this assignment. So again, whatever your assignment's called. Here you got the options to you can just put some instructions as to what this assignment actually is going to be about. Okay, so it could just be, complete the worksheet. I'm sure you can come up with something better than that. These tags are if you want to be able to say that this is, a pass criteria or a distinction criteria. It doesn't really do much other than allow you to just filter it out later on. So if you just want to look at all the passes or all the merits, then you can do that. So if you don't want to use that, then that's fine. If you think that might be useful to you, then you can set up those simple tags later on. Now at this point, you've got the option to attach something for them to do. So if you click on this paperclip, you'll see you can upload files from your OneDrive, pages from your class notebook. You can put a link to a website you want them to go and have a look at. You can link to a file that's already in Teams, or you can create a reading progress activity for them where they have to read something, and then it will gauge how well they did that. Or you can just upload a file from this individual computer. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to go to my own OneDrive here, and I'll just find a picture, not a picture, a document, so the student can then basically just fill that in, and then send it back to me, for example. Or it might be something that I just want them to look at, but not necessarily write anything. It might be some instructions for the task or some information that I want them to have a look at. Okay, so if I just grab from here, uh, something like that. All right, so and then I attach that, and you can see at the moment students can't edit. Now it's just copied this into the team. But if I want each of my students to be able to get a copy of this, which they can then fill in and return to me, then I can change that to students edit their own copy. And that means every single student will get a copy of this file rather than just one individual file that they can just look at. Now you can create from this new option here a brand new Word document, spreadsheet, PowerPoint, etc. But most of you, I guess, will have worksheets or presentations and things that you'll want maybe the students to look at that you already have. Points are available if you want to use them, and rubrics are just there if you want to basically set up a rubric. What this means is that you can basically put in your criteria for what you are describing as a poor or a fair or a good or an excellent piece of work. Or you could put in your past merit distinction criteria here. You can choose not to use these at all. Some people find them quite useful. Students find them quite useful as a guide as to where this assignment should be going, and it makes it a little bit quicker to mark. Okay, so we can use points or not use points, use rubrics, not use rubrics. That's just a choice if you want to do that. Now it's asking us, where do we want to assign it? Well, we want to assign it to this team. We want to assign it to all students. If we had more students, we wanted to differentiate some work, we could assign it to an individual student or just to a small group of students just by selecting them individually. This is saying that anybody that joins this team in the future, because maybe they started the college late, for example, they've transferred from another course, they won't get this assignment. So if we click edit, we can just change that to assign this to everybody, even if they turned up late. Okay, this is when you want it due in by. It's just a calendar, and you can just pick the date that you want that to be sent back to you by, and you can set the time here as well. Now, there's another little option under here. You can schedule this so it doesn't post until a certain date. You can have a close date. Now, if you put a close date on it, the student won't be able to send it to you after that date. So it really is like a final deadline. So they won't be able to hand things in late. So I tend to leave this unticked so that at least I'm still getting the work even though I know it's late. And the system will still record the fact that they turned it in after the deadline. If you want to add this to the student calendar, then you can do that. You can add it to your own calendar as well, and to other team owners, or just to the student. Pings a message up from the Outlook calendar just to let them know, it's due in. It puts it on their calendar for them. So if you want to use that, you can. If you don't want to use that, then that, again, that's fine. If you want to post this notification for this assignment to a different channel, you've got the option to do that here. If you want to receive a notification because it's been sent in late, you can turn that on here. And if you want it to check for plagiarism against previous student submissions, other student submissions, or against any websites you think they might have a temptation to copy and paste from, then you can turn on the option to turn it in, check for plagiarism, just at the bottom here. Now, at this point, you can assign it, but once you assign it, it goes live and the students will see it and they will be able to start working on it. You could just save it and then it'll be in your drafts here. And then at a later date, you can just come back into it and hit the assign button when you're ready for the students to start looking and completing the work on this particular assignment. So that's how you set up an assignment in Teams. You might want to consider setting up and just saving all the assignments for that particular unit, and then they're ready, sitting, waiting for you for when you're ready to make them live.